My name is Alexei. I'm from Russia. I'm a Moscow scholar too. And I have a question. I'm really happy that Russia and Georgia have our relationships become better for the last few years in economical and this way. So what is your plan of working with Russian government in how you want to develop the relationship with Russia in next few years? Yeah. Thank you.
May I answer? Thank you very much. First of all, as first thing, I would like to say that despite several waves of military conflicts in Georgia, we have never created any problem for any single Russian national living in Georgia, and we are very proud of that. Second, I would like to say that two of our genuine historic territories are unfortunately occupied today. And we have severe humanitarian issues for our citizens living across the borderline in Abkhazia, in South Ossetia. Unfortunately, we have integration and cooperation treaties signed by these two so-called countries recognized by Russian Federation. But I think it's part of the legacy from the past. And our aim, of course, is to get rid of this negative legacy. And we truly want to normalize relations with Russia. We have long traditional relations between Georgian people and Russian people. But this cannot be reached unless Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity is respected by Russian Federation. And the precondition for normalization of relations between Russia and Georgia lies through recognition of Georgia's territorial integrity and sovereignty. And we are trying very hard to decrease the temperature. From 2012, when Georgian Dream came to power, we launched new formats of negotiations where we discuss trade-related issues, people-to-people relations, but unfortunately, there is no positive dynamics in political dimensions. And we would like to see these positive dynamics, but again, based on the respect of Georgia's territorial integrity and sovereignty. But believe me, despite everything that we went through, there is no aggression towards our Russian national citizens. And this is something that maybe many countries need to notice. This means that there is a ground for normalizing these relations, but again, based on the respect of Georgia's internationally recognized borders and sovereign decisions. Thank you very much.
First, Your Excellency, thank you so much for being here today, coming back to the University of Illinois. This is a fantastic opportunity for everyone here in the audience today. So first, thank you so much for this opportunity. My question is, with the upcoming presidential elections here in the United States, which of the current candidates do you believe...
Tough, very tough question.
Which of the current candidates do you believe is going to continue to instill the pro-West ideas of the Georgian Dream Party while also sort of trying to temper the Russian-Georgian relationships?
Well, thank you very much. I need to apologize and refrain from answering these questions, since this is a very sensitive issue in the United States, and I am a politician who will need to deal with anyone who will be a result of sovereign decision of American people. So I think the best decision will be to just refrain from answering this question. Thank you. Sorry for that.
Hi, I'm Aram. I'm from your neighboring country, Armenia. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the very motivating talk. And my question is the following. So what do you think was the key turning point in the Georgian history within the past 20 years that Georgia was able to overcome all those, let's say, corrupted governmental structures that was descended from the Soviet Union? And The next question will be, what kind of relationship do you see to develop between Georgia and Armenia for the future? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Aram. By the way, when I was studying at UOI, I had a friend whose name was Aram, by the way. He was studying at the same time macroeconomics here. And he was at the concert of Georgian dance team that I was mentioned. And I'm glad to see again Armenians here in this audience. Well, first of all, let me say that it was a 25 years of successes and failures. Starting from Eduard Shevardnadze's time. It was time when major pipelines, oil pipelines crossing Georgia were planned and implemented. These were important strategic projects that put Georgia on the map regionally and increased the importance of Georgia, actually recreated Georgia's transit function. After that, ending time of Shevardnadze's tenure was really different, with corruption very high and bureaucracy growing in the country. And starting point of Mikhail Saakashvili was really successful. Starting from 2003 to 2006, 2007, it was several years of success and important reforms. But unfortunately, starting from 2007, ex-president of Georgia became too authoritarian. And we had experienced human rights violations, beating of protesters in the streets, hostile takeover by the police of TV stations, and 300,000 Georgian citizens were prosecuted. So maybe the image of Georgia outside was different, and these people were really good at marketing Georgia outside, but inside Georgia, the life became nightmare during those 5 years. And I'm not diminishing the positive achievements of Saakashvili. And there was very good part of the legacy, which was fundamental reforms in bureaucracy and decreasing petty corruption, etc., etc. But again, everything was messed up during the last 5 years. And this was the reason of changing the government in 2012. After 2012, we have noticed important changes. And these are not government observations. According to many international respectful organizations such as World Bank, Heritage Foundation, and other international organizations, we have excellent progress in many areas. World Governance Indicators report of 2015 shows that Georgia has, during the last several years, has excellent progress in absence of violence, freedom of expression, quality of regulations, rule of law, and from 10 to 15 percentile increase in each area every year, which means that despite all the speculations, what we have internally now, and despite ups and downs, and nobody refuses that we are not perfect yet, and there is a long way to go ahead. There is a clear, evident, positive trend in Georgia, and this should be noticed. And the human rights protection, democratization of the country, and rule of law dramatically improved. I'm not going into negative aspects of the past, and I never speak about it when I am abroad. Answering your questions, again, I would like to say that we had important, I would say, 25 years, still 25 years, and we had successes, failures. We had positive legacy, which is very much respected, and we are building our future based on that legacy. But also we have areas with significant room for improvement. Again, and we were not totally successful during these last several years. We made our own mistakes, but still Georgia is moving forward. An association agreement with European Union and reforms related to association agreement, democratization of our institutions, building real market economy institutions such as competition agency, such as standardization, metrology, food safety, builds Georgia and strengthens Georgia's image as a European country. But I should also say that we are a country which much lighter regulations than a typical European country, and we must have lighter regulations in order to attract investments and to stay attractive for foreign direct investments. As to Georgia-Armenia relations, our relations, traditionally we are very strong. We had excellent neighborly relations. We have common traditions, and of course this will continue in the future. And we enjoy excellent people-to-people relations, and governmental relations are also very good today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for coming back to our campus. I'm from South Korea, so I kind of understand having a not-so-friendly neighbor up north. So my question is, what are some security measures you're willing to take to convince foreign investors that Georgia is safe to invest and it's a great place to invest? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that the largest foreign direct, and this answers your question, largest foreign direct investor of the last year is a South Korean company, and this is K-Water. This is $1 billion project, hydropower project. Maybe I shouldn't say anything else, but believe me, experience speaks all how we managed again to cool down the temperature, just abstaining from using hostile rhetorics, which is also part of our legacy from the past years, and by trying to be constructive as possible. And this is very hard. And by balancing, on one hand, to keep Georgia high in the agenda of our friends and strategic friends such as the United States, because this is very important, and the security issues of Georgia, and on the other hand, balancing our messages to the investors so that they feel confident in investing in Georgia. And the last year showed that we had 83% increase in FDI in 2014. We had a slight turn down in 2015, but still 15 numbers are highest among the last 5 years. So it shows that surrounding countries and also countries in the Gulf region, countries from Southeast Asia, they start to notice Georgia as a country with excellent business climate, a country with very open economy, which, by the way, despite all the speculations that open economies are most vulnerable to the crisis, Georgia's economy turned out to be most resilient in the region. We still have growth rates from 3 to 5%, and our exchange rate is stable. And our banking sector is stable, and non-performing loans are not increasing, which means that opening economy for investments, trade, logistics works. And we proved that by having free trade agreements with all European countries, with all surrounding countries. Now we are trying and working very hard to plug into TTIP agreement through Brussels. And also we are negotiating free trade agreement with China, and hopefully we will close the negotiations by the end of the year. So Georgia is a place for trade, transport, logistics, and this is why we attract so many investments, especially in transport, communications, and logistics sectors. Thank you very much.
I'm an agricultural scientist, basically plant pathologist. I have been involved in Georgia since 2008 in various capacity, training and evaluation and so on. Georgia, in my evaluation, has huge agricultural potential, but the progress has been very slow. Basically, you need lots of qualified scientists in agriculture. I would like, I will appreciate if you say something about your future agricultural policy and possibly sending some student get trained in the United States for the future of Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very interesting question, and I do agree that we need to update our capacity in the science of agriculture. Agriculture in Georgia is a traditional industry. More than 50% of Georgian population is engaged in agriculture, and it produces slightly less than 10% of our GDP, which means that there is a very strong and clear need of new technologies and know-how, and the policy response from the government was special program which incentivizes modern agriculture companies in Georgia, and this is done through subsidizing only for the startup period agriculture companies. We finance bringing foreign professionals, and we have, for example, Dutch professionals working in the greenhouses in Georgia, and this is part of outsourcing project. But of course, we will be glad to send our students to the United States for agriculture programs. I should say that part of our reform is educational reform. And unfortunately, current financing priorities of the country for higher education are completely wrong. We are producing unemployed people every year. We are producing people in the professions which are not needed. We are producing 5 times more diplomats. There is a foreign minister here, and he can tell you exactly how many vacancies, he's here, how many vacancies he will have next year. And we are producing 5 times more diplomats. And of course, all these people end up being unemployed, frustrated, and their life is ruined because they need to reposition their lives, to study another profession, to spend more money, and have more expenses. And government also has to have more expenses. So basically what we are doing now, together with the World Bank, launched a comprehensive labor markets needs assessment, which will assess needs, not only current needs of our labor market, but also future needs of our economy and labor market. And based on that survey, we will channel the scarce financial resources, budget resources, to incentivize education for those professions which are most needed. We have, in the last year, we have established an international education center under the Prime Minister of Georgia, and this center sends Georgian students and finances Georgian students for professions which are most needed. And we will be glad to consider sending Georgian students to University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana programs for agriculture, because we definitely need more scientists, especially in agriculture. Thank you.
I have a question regarding Iran's re-entry into global community. So, as a global getaway between Europe and Asia, how important is that? And I kind of feel from what I read that you are very strategically placed to gain from Iran's re-entry into global community. That is one question. Second one is regarding oil prices, because you have little conflicting view on oil prices, right? Because number one is with low oil prices, you're going to gain because you have improving your industry. On the second hand, oil investors are basically the countries with huge exposure towards oil. Will your FDI be impacted by that? So those are the two questions.
Thank you very much. Actually, I should say that we have trade relations with Iran. Of course, we stay pretty much in line with the international community on these regulations. And we have recently opened visa-free travel for Iranian citizens to Georgia, which means increasing of tourists and also businessmen from Iran. On the falling oil prices, you are absolutely right. There is a double impact from falling of oil prices. Of course, our industries benefit from falling oil prices, but on the other hand, major countries who are providers of foreign direct investments to Georgia are oil countries. This is Azerbaijan, this is Kazakhstan, these are Gulf countries. So by falling oil prices, investment appetite in these countries fall also. So I would say that the negative impact is much higher than the positive impact, because Georgia is not a heavily industrialized country, so we very much depend on foreign direct investments. Our economic growth has very strong correlation with foreign direct investments, so of course we suffer when oil prices go down. And we can do nothing about it. We need to diversify. We need to diversify and bring investments from other countries. That is what we are doing, by the way. Thank you.
The laws of supply and demand always prevail. And in this case, the demand for the Prime Minister's time has exceeded the supply of his time. So he must get on his schedule. But I'm going to ask him the last question. When are we going to receive an application from one of those 4 children of yours to matriculate at the University of Illinois?
Thank you very much. I believe that the youngest one will definitely apply to University of Illinois. I had my oldest daughter, and we spoke about it. By the way, she married several months ago, and she was here in 2007 for architecture summer school. And it was a 3-week program, and she was so excited about this program. She brought absolutely the same impressions as me back in 1998. So I was very glad to have a chance to send her for a summer school, and she has also very, very warm memories about these 3 weeks here. So thank you very much.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.